The bathroom was quiet. The big white sink was dry and empty, and on the edge of that sink sat a little bar of soap named Bubbly. Bubbly was a happy soap, usually. His job was to make bubbles, the most wonderful, slippery, floating bubbles anyone had ever seen. But today, Bubbly felt a little still. A little plain. He wanted to make something extra special. Not just white bubbles, but magical, colorful bubbles bursting with joy. He remembered a story the old, wise loofah had once told him. A story about the 3 magical colors. If a soap could find them and swirl them into its bubbles, those bubbles would become the most beautiful, the most fun, the most joyful bubbles in the whole wide world. They would be iridescent, shimmering with every color of the rainbow. That was it. That was his dream. He would find the colors and create the most amazing bath time ever. But where to even begin? The world of the bathroom sink was a big place when you were just a little bar of soap. Bubbly took a deep breath and felt a tiny tingle of excitement. It was time for an adventure. He pushed himself from his spot, starting to slide. Oh, it felt so wonderfully slippery. He slid across the cool, smooth porcelain of the sink bowl, leaving a faint, shiny trail behind him. Unrolled the little bar of soap, slippity-slide across the white. Where would a magical color be hiding? The first place he slid to was the very back of the sink, where the silver faucet stood tall and silent. Bubbly looked up and up and up. It was like a giant shiny tree. And there, curled up next to its base, was something different. Something not white, not silver. It was a color. It was a cool, calm, wonderful color. The color of a deep, quiet pond where friendly frogs might live. The color of a summer sky just after the sun has risen. It was a soft, squishy sponge, waiting patiently for its next job. It was the color blue. Bubbly was so happy. He had found the first magical color. He gently, carefully rubbed his side against the soft, bumpy surface of the blue sponge. A tiny, invisible piece of its blueness clung to him, filling him with a cool, calm feeling. He could already feel his bubbles getting more magical. But he needed more. 1 color was good, but 3 would be truly joyful. Unrolled the little bar of soap, slippity-slide, now with a hint of cool blue magic inside him. Where would the next color be? He slid towards the edge of the sink, peeking carefully over the side. The world below looked very far away. The bath mat was a fuzzy landscape far, far below. But then something caught his eye. Something right there on the sink's edge. It was small and pointy and had a little cap. It was a tube of toothpaste. And it wasn't just white. Stripes ran down its side. Bright, cheerful, happy stripes. 1 stripe was a color so sweet and so fun. It was the color of a delicious watermelon, of a silly flamingo standing on 1 leg, of the prettiest flower in a spring garden. It was the color pink. Bubbly had found the second magical color. His excitement grew. He nudged the tube gently, and a tiny minty fresh smell filled the air. He rubbed his other side against the smooth, striped plastic, and a spark of sweet, happy pinkness joined the blue inside him. Oh, his bubbles were going to be so wonderful now. 2 colors. They would be so joyful. But the wise loofah had said 3. 3 was the magic number. So where was the last one? Bubbly slid all around the sink. He looked near the toothbrush holder. He looked by the water glass. He saw white porcelain. He saw silver metal. He saw clear glass. But no third color. His excitement began to feel a little slippery, like it might slide away into worry. What if he couldn't find the last color? What if his bubbles were only 2-colored instead of iridescent and magical? He felt a small sigh building inside him. Maybe he should just give up. Maybe 2 colors were enough. He slid slowly, sadly towards the center of the sink, feeling not so magical anymore. But then a sound. A gentle clicking sound. The bathroom door was opening. A little boy named Leo walked in, dragging his feet. He looked grumpy. His face was smudged with what looked like chocolate, and he did not look one bit excited for bath time. He reached out a hand. This was it. Bubbly's big moment was here, but he wasn't ready. He only had 2 colors. He didn't have the third. He felt a jolt of panic. What would happen now? Leo's fingers wrapped around him. The world lifted into the air. It was so dizzying. Then FWSSS8. A splash of warm, wonderful water flowed from the faucet, hitting Bubbly and filling the sink. This was what he was made for. The water felt amazing. Leo began to rub him between his hands. And then the magic began. From Bubbly's sides, bubbles began to pour out. But these weren't ordinary bubbles. They were magnificent. They were blue. They were pink. They swirled together, creating new, beautiful iridescent colors. They were slippery and shiny, floating up from Leo's hands into the steamy air. They shimmered with light, looking like tiny floating rainbows. Leo's grumpy face changed. His eyes opened wide. His frown turned into a circle of wonder. He blew a breath, and a stream of beautiful, colorful bubbles floated across the room. He laughed. It was a happy, giggly sound that filled the bathroom. He forgot all about being grumpy. He was too busy playing with the most magical bubbles he had ever seen. Bubbly was so happy. He was creating joy. He was doing it. But he still wondered what was the third color. He had only found two. Where did the magic truly come from? Leo, laughing, held Bubbly up high to look at his own soapy, bubbly hands. And that's when Bubbly saw it. Reflected in the shiny surface of the wet faucet, he could see Leo's happy face. And he could see his own bubbles swirling and mixing together. The blue bubbles and the pink bubbles floated into each other, merging, blending, and creating something brand new right there in the warm, steamy air. Where a blue bubble met a pink bubble, they didn't just make a mess. They made a new, wonderful, beautiful color. A fresh, lively, growing color. The color of a crunchy green apple, of a hopping little frog, of soft moss on a sunny stone. It was the color green. The third color wasn't something he had to find. It was something he made all by himself when his other colors came together with joy. That was the biggest surprise of all. The magic wasn't just in finding things. The real magic was in creating something new. The third color was the color of joy itself, made from mixing fun and love. His bubbles were now truly iridescent, shimmering with blue, pink, and the beautiful green they made together. Leo played until the water began to cool, and his fingers were as wrinkly as little raisins. He gently placed Bubbly back on the edge of the now clean sink. Bubbly felt tired, but it was a good tired. A happy, successful tired. He was smaller now, but he was filled with more magic than ever before. He had done it. He had created the most joyful, colorful, fun bubbles ever. The bathroom was steamy and warm and smelled clean and fresh. Leo, now in his cozy pajamas, gave a happy yawn and turned off the light. The room was dark and quiet again. But Bubbly didn't feel plain or still anymore. He sat on the edge of the sink, shimmering with a faint iridescent glow, already dreaming of his next adventure. What other colors could he discover? What if he found a way to make golden, sunshiny bubbles? Or deep, purpley nighttime bubbles? What other joy could he create next time? But that is a story for another bath time. Moral: true joy is created when we share our unique gifts and mix our ideas with others.